there were maybe only 5 or 6 first round prospects that accepted the invitation this year. And so you're getting a lot of that becomes a pandemic. The next guy said, well, why do I have to play? I had a good week of practice. He calls.
He's back. Here's Jody Mack.
All right, he's flexing a little bit, producer Manny Rodriguez, because his Knicks got the better of the Sixers despite trailing by 21 points in the first half. Big rally by New York and Evan Fournier, Manny's favorite player, with a producer Manny Rodriguez.
Convenient snack. Jacklings, the official protein snack of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Want to go to the game? Adam Carter and I give away Wolves tickets from 9 to noon on Wednesdays on News Talk 830 WCCO.
128-98, 30-point win. Let's hear from the winning head coach, Chris Finch.
I think Jalen was plus 35.
Yeah.
I think that's one of his best attributes, because it also opens up his passing window. You can see plays develop when he does that.
Tonight was an extraordinary situation in terms of the plus 35, but throughout much of the season, Jalen's individual numbers haven't been nearly as good as his team numbers, his net rating. What is he doing on the court that's helping this team that isn't particularly obvious to the eye test, do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's actually, we've tried to dig into those numbers ourselves recently. A lot of those, certainly we turn the ball over a lot less when he's out there. That helps. We have a tendency to be a high turnover team. I think particularly you have to expand some of those lineups with who else he's out there. Like when he's out there with like Ant and in particular, he has been playing a lot of minutes, finishing quarters with Ant. That's been big too. Their usage gets evenly distributed. Kind of makes sense, if you will. A lot of the times with Jalen, it's been hard to get him the minutes we would love to get him, just because of defensive matchups and other guys that we've have to play and try to play in a rotation too. So, it's been unfair on him sometimes. Maybe not to get more minutes at some parts of some games, but yeah.
Chris, did you look at this homestand as an important one coming in? And if so, how do you feel about the result?
Yeah, we looked at a very important homestand, 4-2. Probably would love to have been 5-1. Ideally, I think that, but 4-2, winning more than you're losing right now is big for us. We talked about this stretch into the All-Star break, how important it was. We go on the road now against a bunch of really good teams. We've been pretty good against good teams, and we haven't been. There's not been a huge drop off on the road, so we feel pretty confident. But yeah, it's we had to set up this closing stretch before the break with some good home results.
This is all second year in a row where your team seemed to take off starting in January. Is that just the way the flow of the season has gone, or is there a reason for that?
I think there's reasons for it. Traditionally our offense has been the slow starting one, just with the nature of it. Obviously, when you have significant change like we had with bringing in Rudy and all that, it's going to take. Last year COVID derailed us in December, like it did most teams, and then when we got fully healthy back after that, we've had a great rhythm. And today, I think it was also figuring out some things the timing of it just took us a while. Guys playing into a better rhythm, feeling way more comfortable about where they were going to get their shots, not pressing as much defensively, being able to mix things up with some level of success. Like all that stuff just takes time. Generally, I always think it's about 20 to 25 games for the offense to click. And it was probably around about that when we started really generating a lot of good shots. And then, another 10, 12 games after that, we started hitting shots. So
you mentioned, performances on the road. You're 9-15 overall on the road. Is there something just a little that you need to do a little better or different? Close games.
Close games. Yeah. I mean, we lost at the buzzer in Denver, lost at the buzzer in New Orleans. We've had some really tough, close losses on the road. I think being able to maintain scoring down the stretch has been something that we got to do a little bit better job of. Turnovers late in the game, that kind of stuff.
All right, there he is, head coach Chris Finch, after a 30-point win over the Denver Nuggets here tonight. 128-98 is the final. We'll come back with our three factors next. Three biggest reasons for the Wolves' triumph tonight over the Nuggets. That's next on the XL Energy Timberwolves Radio Network.
You've heard of all work and no play. Not at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Known across the region as Minnesota's premier entertainment destination, the island prioritizes fun and offers excellent benefits, flexibility, unlimited opportunities, winning experiences, and more. All day, every day. With their wide variety of departments, there's something for everyone. Take the island way to a unique and exciting career. Apply today at ticasino.com.
When it comes to your health, the unknown can be unsettling. But there's one thing that can calm that uncertainty: an answer. Mayo Clinic uncovers answers every day through exploration, teamwork, and innovation, which can lead to even more answers and help to find a path forward. So if that's what you're looking for, you know where to go. Mayo Clinic. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/answers.
You're listening to the post-game show on the Timberwolves Radio Network.
Good outlet to Noel on the push up the center of the floor. It was right now. McDaniels will rise up and jam it with two hands. Timberwolves up by 23. Midway through the second quarter, another timeout for Nuggets head coach Michael Malone. Yeah, Mike Malone didn't have enough timeouts to stop the onslaught tonight. Without 4/5 of his starting lineup, his team falls by 30. 128-98 is the final. This is the Federated Insurance post-game show recognizing Mid-Country Machinery as the Federated Insurance Business Partner of the Month. Time for our three factors, three biggest reasons for the Timberwolves' victory here tonight. Well, facing a shorthanded squad, the Wolves did exactly what they needed to do. They jumped out to the early lead. Our first factor will be their domination just up and down the stat sheet. Up by 11 after one, they used a 25-5 run from the end of the first into the second to build a 20-point lead. They turned Denver over 22 times for 32 Minnesota points. They had a 72-42 advantage in the paint. Timberwolves got 58 rim points tonight. That's the second most they've secured in a game this season. And the Timberwolves had 33 assists on 48 made field goals. They shot 55%. So the domination stat sheet is our first factor. Second factor, J-Mac back. 11 minutes, 31 seconds. Plus 16 during that time, 2 points, 3 assists. That is going to be a big factor going forward. If he can keep that calf healthy and get back to doing the things that J-Mac does, when Jordan is in the lineup, the Wolves are now 11-8. When he's not, they're 18-19 this season. And finally, let's give some recognition to Anthony Edwards. 20 points tonight, 8 of 17 shooting, 1 of 5 from deep. Didn't have to have a big night tonight. He played 31 minutes, 200th career game for Anthony Edwards. 200 career games, and no one in their first 200 games in the Timberwolves uniform has scored more points than Anthony Edwards. He's been amazing. 4,310 points. That tops what Tony Campbell did. Karl Anthony Towns, third on that list. Big Al Jefferson, fourth on that list. Fourth factor, Timberwolves go 4-2 on the homestand. And don't look now, but the Wolves are up to 7th in the Western Conference standings. They trail. They're even with the Dallas Mavericks, essentially. Just a percentage point behind in 6th. Should be a fun road trip. Denver, Utah, Memphis, and Dallas all coming up before the Wolves come home on the 16th to play the Washington Wizards. Those are your three factors, and that'll do it for our portion of the postgame from our radio platform. Special thanks to our engineer, Mike Weber, our statistician, Super Dave Hanlon, Alan Horton saying so long and good evening from Target Center. Final score again, Timberwolves 128, Nuggets 98. Stay tuned. Cal Soderquist continues with the rest of the postgame next all across the XL Energy Timberwolves Radio Network.
Your home for Timberwolves basketball is Bally Sports North.
Oh my goodness!
Stream games live on the Bally Sports app.
Hammers at home.
And now on Bally Sports Plus, the all-new standalone streaming subscription service from Bally Sports.
Putting everybody on notice.
Timberwolves basketball all season long on Bally Sports North, the Bally Sports app, and Bally Sports Plus.
He puts it up. Oh!
Visit BallySportsPlus.com to learn more and subscribe.
Fans, the Timberwolves and Arby's are looking to get you free meats this season by lighting it up from downtown with the We Have the Threes promotion. That's right, We Have the Threes. So every time the pack cashes in 12 threes at a home or away game, all fans with the Timberwolves mobile app can get a free Arby's classic beef and cheddar sandwich. Just head to your nearest Arby's, show them your app, and boom! Limit one per customer and is valid at participating stores in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. For a complete list of participating stores, visit Timberwolves.com/Arby's.
Score a slam dunk in having fun when traveling to and from a Timberwolves game in a clean, safe, and secure vehicle. Don't waste time finding a parking spot or wait for the parking lot to empty out when going home. Eclipse knows how to make an event memorable with quality transportation service. With a variety of vehicles to fit any transportation need, our professional and courteous staff will work hard to make your experience a game winner. To make reservations, please contact one of our sales associates at 651-293-1111 or visit eclipsecars.com.
News, food, fun. Drive Time with DeRusha. Weekdays 3 to 6 on CCO.
A very methodical handling of business tonight for the Minnesota Timberwolves. A 128-98 result over the severely shorthanded Denver Nuggets. Cal Soderquist back here with you inside our NBA Tonight studios here at the Target Center as the Federated Insurance Mid-Country Machinery postgame show continues. You've heard from the head coach, Chris Finch. You've heard from Alan Horton with his three factors, and you've heard from Jordan McLaughlin back after the lengthy absence with that calf injury. Great to see J-Mac back out there running things for that second unit, even in that minutes restriction, limited appearance. Still great to have number 6 back healthy. Timberwolves get this win. We will run through some of the highlights in just a moment. We also hope to get inside that Timberwolves locker room and get you continued reaction after this 30-point rout of their division rival. Let's start with the highlights. Timberwolves wrapping up this season-long 6-game homestand. You heard head coach Chris Finch mention the importance of stacking wins on their home floor before they hit the road for a lengthy stretch here to enter the All-Star break and then still away from home for the majority of the month of February once they're back. Tonight, hosting a Denver Nuggets team that entered this matchup having won 3 straight games, enjoying a 4.5-game cushion atop the Western Conference, but as we mentioned, missing 4/5 of their usual starting lineup. No Nikola Jokic, no Jamal Murray, no Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and no Aaron Gordon. So it was up to the Timberwolves to take advantage, and they wasted a little time doing so as the opening frame got going.
Here's Ant circling off the Gobert screen, off to McDaniels. He'll drive and kick out. Russell, catch and shoot 3 on the way is good. Last 15 games, D'Angelo Russell hitting 46% of his threes. He's up to 13 points. He's knocked down 3 of 4 from deep so far.
As he often does, D'Lo got it cooking early. 13 quick points in that opening frame. And after D'Lo checked out, Jordan McLaughlin checking in, entering to some nice applause and a standing ovation from the Target Center faithful. They love them some J-Mac, certainly. And he wasted very little time giving that crowd something to be excited about.
Ish Smith, the drive into the paint, lost the ball. Timberwolves are on the break. Back the other way. It's J-Mac through the lane, runs it up off glass and hit it. What a shot by Jordan McLaughlin. Half-court heave by Jeff Green is an air ball at the buzzer.
Yeah, great to have McLaughlin make his return. That tough bucket right there, part of a 12-2 Timberwolves burst to close out that opening frame. They led by 11 after one, 32-21. And as the second quarter was unfolding, Minnesota, like we mentioned, playing with the rest advantage and the roster that was closer to full strength. So with those in their favor, they continued to floor the accelerator.
Good outlet to Noel on the push up the center of the floor to his right now. McDaniels, he'll rise up and jam it with two hands. Timberwolves up by 23. Midway through the second quarter, another timeout for Nuggets head coach Michael Malone.
Having all kinds of fun in that first half were the Timberwolves. That was a 25-5 run that spanned the first and second quarters. Minnesota ballooned their lead as large as 25. Again, dominating most of the statistical categories in that first half. Just 4 first-half turnovers for the Timberwolves. Denver, meanwhile, with 14 miscues that Minnesota converted into 25 points. Wolves nearly doubled up the Nuggets in terms of the points in the paint scoring, 38-20. They did double up Denver in the fast break scoring, 16-8 advantage there. And as the dust settled on that first half, it was a 63-43 Timberwolves cushion that they carried into the locker rooms at the break. As the third quarter got going, this is when Denver made their move, or at least attempted to make their move. They climbed as close as 14 late in that third frame, and Jeff Green even missed a triple that would have gotten it to within 11. But Minnesota, to their credit, answering right back, a 9-0 burst to close the quarter that essentially sealed this one up.
Timberwolves were up 20 to begin the quarter. Ant with it with 4, now with 3, setting up for the step back 3. Here it comes. There it goes. At the buzzer, he drains it. And the Timberwolves do win the third quarter.
Yeah, we mentioned the 9-0 run. Ant had 6 of those 9 points. He put the Wolves back up 23 with that triple right there. As Alan mentioned, the Wolves do win that third frame. And with the 23-point cushion entering the final 12 minutes, this one was all but settled. Wolves get the win, 128-98. As we mentioned, they do exactly what they were supposed to do. As we learned about an hour before tip, that the Nuggets would not have many of their key pieces. In fact, all those guys that were out did not even travel with the Nuggets for this mini one-game trip. Wolves able to methodically dispatch a severely shorthanded opponent in the Denver Nuggets. But we'll see these same two teams match up in Denver coming up on Tuesday. The series will shift to the Mile High City. And as you heard Alan mention, the Nuggets likely will have many of those key names back in the lineup coming up on Tuesday. So it should be a fun rematch. Wolves get this 30-point victory. You've heard from head coach Chris Finch. We still hope to get you some player reaction. Let's real quick take a look at some of the other action on this Sunday evening. Several finals to pass along as everything is concluded, including the New Orleans Pelicans, a 32-point rout at home over the Sacramento Kings. So after the Pelicans, it seemed like they were bottoming out there for a while, the lengthy losing streak, they have won back-to-back games. See if they can salvage some positivity. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Raptors tonight. A Tyus Jones floater gave the Grizzlies a 3-point lead late in the fourth quarter, but Scotty Barnes and the Raptors, they answered right back.
Tip down low, but not squeezed by Tillman. Raptors have the ball. Trent ahead to Van Vliet. 20 seconds on the shot clock. 25 on the game clock. Scotty Barnes drives into the paint, bobbled it, got it back, and floats it in. He's given the Raptors the lead with 20.7 seconds to play, and he barks like a dog down in Memphis.
Listen, I like it, right? The passion.
Deservedly passionate Scotty Barnes. 13 of his 16 points came in that final frame. And again, the Tyus floater to put Memphis up 3. Barnes then scores the next 4. Raptors close the game, scoring the final 6 points. They get a 106-103 result in Memphis. Hard-fought victory for a Raptors team that we've heard mentioned quite frequently as that trade deadline rapidly approaches this coming Thursday. Will they be sellers? Will some of those names be on the move? Scotty Barnes, not one of those names that's rumored in deals, but we'll see what the Raptors end up doing in just a few days from now. New York Knicks get an 11-point win at home over the Sixers. Big-time fourth quarter rally. They outscored Philly 32-18 in that final frame. En route to that 11-point win, they spoiled a 31-point, 14-rebound effort from Joel Embiid. Indiana Pacers, they get routed at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 122-103. Darius Garland fresh off the All-Star snub earlier this last week. He finished with 24 points and 6 dimes. And the Orlando Magic, they make it 2 straight. They got the win on Friday here at the Target Center. They go into Charlotte this afternoon and get a 119-113 win. Of course, no Mo Bamba in that one. He begins serving that 4-game suspension. Wendell Carter Jr., he missed the game on Friday. He stepped into the front court and finished with a 20-point, 12-rebound double-double. Timberwolves get the win here tonight, a much-needed result to wrap up this six-game homestand. Timberwolves go 4-2 over those 6 games, and they'll now head out on the road for a lengthy, basically week-long trip that starts Tuesday night in Denver. Should be a fun rematch between these two teams after the Wolves holding serve on their home floor against a shorthanded version of this Nuggets team that sits atop the Western Conference. No player reaction from the locker room or the podium just yet, but we will certainly get that to you once we have it. Again, tune into our SoundCloud page, soundcloud.com/Wolves-radio. We get full player and coach reaction from each and every Wolves game, home or road, win or loss, right there. So check that for full coverage from this 30-point victory. For Alan Horton, I'm Cal Soderquist saying so long here tonight. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us. Thank you to our on-site engineer, Mike Weber, and our statistician, Super Dave Handeland. We will talk to you again on Tuesday, Wolves and Nuggets, 8 o'clock tip-off. Again, this one was originally slated for a 9 o'clock TNT broadcast, but TNT reshuffling some things, prioritizing LeBron James in that pursuit of the NBA's all-time scoring title. So Wolves and Nuggets will now tip it off an hour earlier, and that means our pregame coverage comes your way at 7:30. We hope you'll join us then on the XL Energy Timberwolves Radio Network.
You've been listening to Timberwolves Basketball, brought to you by U.S. Bank, the official bank of the Minnesota Timberwolves, equal housing lender, member FDIC. By Xcel Energy, matching you with clean energy-saving solutions, because energy is everything. By Mayo Clinic, your source for medical answers. And by Aura, the official digital security partner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. This has been a presentation of the Timberwolves Radio Network.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey Sports, presented by Indeed. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire.
Good evening. This is Jonathan Lowe here in the News Talk 830 WCCO studios. We are going to get you to the Steel Talking program and the Center Stage Hour coming up here at the top of the hour after CBS and local news at 9. But we are going to start with a little bit of sports, a little bit of a recap of the day with a lot of stuff going on, not just on the court, but also had a couple other things going on involving some Minnesota teams. So we'll get you to that. We'll get you some future schedules as far as that's concerned. But we're going to start right now with a recap just after Cal did that so lovely. We will recap here quickly the scores from tonight's games here in the NBA. And we will start with that game over at Target Center. Timberwolves get a big-time win over the Denver Nuggets, the division-leading Nuggets, 128-98. Again, Denver did not play and did not bring 4 of their 5 starters to Target Center tonight, but the two teams will run it back, and it should be a very competitive matchup, hopefully a competitive matchup on Tuesday night. And as Cal said, there is a change in the schedule. It was originally scheduled for a 9 p.m. game. It was going to be TNT's second half of their doubleheader, but because of LeBron James's quest for the scoring leadership, the all-time scoring record, they are going to, the TNT broadcast is going to flex out of the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. They will go to the Lakers game that night. So Denver and Minnesota now an 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 pregame Tuesday night here on News Talk 830 WCCO. 5 of the games in the association. Orlando defeated Charlotte tonight on the road, 119-113. It was Cleveland defeating Indiana, 122-103. The New York Knicks take down Philadelphia, 108-97. Toronto wins in Memphis. Memphis has been struggling as of late. 106-103, the final. Toronto wins. And New Orleans gets a huge win in that race in the West over Sacramento. The Kings fall 136-104 in New Orleans. We do have some other things to talk about. How about some college hoop? We did have some Big Ten basketball today. Michigan wins over Ohio State 77-69. It was Nebraska defeating Penn State 72-63. Northwestern ekes out a win at the Kohl Center over Wisconsin 54-52. Gophers lost big yesterday. The Gopher men, they were a 81-46 loser yesterday. Got defeated by Maryland at Williams Arena. And now the Gophers go on the road on Tuesday to take on Illinois. Again, in Champaign-Urbana on Tuesday, the Gophers at Illinois on the men's side. One top 25 men's score from today. Number 3, Houston defeats Temple 81-65. On the women's side, full slate of Big Ten games today, pretty much 6 games in total. Number 4, Indiana defeats Purdue 69-46. It was number 6, Iowa, all over Penn State 95-51. Caitlin Clark, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists for yet another triple-double. Number 8, Maryland takes down number 10, Ohio State 90-54. It was number 18, Michigan, beating in-state rival Michigan State 77-67. Rutgers wins over Wisconsin 73-67. And the Minnesota Gophers go on the road. They were in Champaign today taking on Illinois. And the Illini win 69-62. Gophers now 9-14 on the season, 3-10 in the Big Ten. And it doesn't get any easier now. The Gophers go to Columbus to take on that highly ranked Ohio State team, even though the Buckeyes have struggled over the last few games. So again, Minnesota women next on Wednesday night. They'll be in Columbus taking on Ohio State. Now we head to hockey. Men's hockey team was off for the Golden Gophers this weekend. They next head to Madison to take on Wisconsin. That'll be next Friday night and Saturday evening. The Golden Gopher men's hockey team taking on Wisconsin. Gopher women's team split with number 1 Ohio State this weekend, winning on Friday night, losing Saturday afternoon. Now they will host number 8 Wisconsin next week, Friday, Saturday. So again, border battles unite. The men will be in Madison. The women will be here at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis next Friday and Saturday. One other hockey note: the Minnesota Wild will come off of their All-Star break. The All-Star break just happening this weekend. They will start back at it tomorrow in the desert, taking on Arizona, the Coyotes. That's an 8 p.m. Central face-off tomorrow night for the Wild. Then they go to Dallas Wednesday night for a 7:30 face-off with the Stars before coming back home on Thursday night to face Vegas. And then we do have golf. One golf note: the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am had some weather issues the last couple of days. They are into the 4th round, but they will have a Monday finish. Justin Rose leading at 15 under par by 2 shots over Denny McCarthy and Brandon Todd. Also Peter Malnati at 13 under par, 2 shots back. Tied for 5th is Taylor Pendrith, Bo Hostler, Brandon Wu, and Keith Mitchell, all at -12. So that's going to wrap up all your sports news for the day. We will get to Steel Talking. We have the last 2 hours of the show tonight, and we will start with the Center Stage Hour. That's coming up in just a few minutes after CBS News and Local News with Susie Jones here on News Talk 830 WCCO. We thank you, as always, for joining us on a Sunday night.
Going into the season with the Rudy trade, and you got to play it out.
Is this chaos or is this democracy in action?
What it means.
Good education sometimes means uncomfortable conversations.
Maybe it's us that are being duped, thinking that it is too hard for our lawmakers to figure out, and maybe we need new lawmakers.
News Talk 830 WCCO.